I was born in the 1980s in the mother country of the British Commonwealth, the seat of the first truly global empire, the birthplace of the Industrial Revolution, and the epicenter of global finance. What does this mean? What are the social and historical forces that even allowed my parents to meet? My father is the British-born child of two African-Jamaican migrant workers who came to the mother country as part of the Windrush generation. My mother was an army child, born in Germany, spending her infant years in Hong Kong, and moving to the small town in which I was born in her early teens. In my parents' meeting are untold histories of imperial conquests, macroeconomic change, slave revolts, decolonization, and worker struggles. I was born poor by Western standards at least. I was born poor and racialized as black, despite my white mother, in perhaps the most tumultuous decade of Britain's domestic racial history.
She had lived with bad dreams for many years, but nothing prepared Marie for the recurrent nightmare that plagued her after she was shot. As she drifted into sleep, her subconscious reran what had happened, the fear and indecision never resolving, like a horror film stuck on a loop, repeating into infinity. In the dream, she is lying on the ground, seeing the flares, hearing the machine gun fire, and the soldiers' voices exactly as she heard them that pitch-black night in Sri Lanka before the moon rose over the fields. These are her choices. She can stand up and shout, hoping they will see that she is white and female, obviously a foreigner. She can try to crawl away, knowing they will shoot at anything they see moving. Or she can lie still, awaiting her fate. The decision will determine whether she lives or dies, but nothing will undo what is about to happen. She cannot roll back time, nor can she push it forward. Stand up, crawl away, lie still, stand up, crawl away, lie still. The choices repeat and repeat, a drumbeat of fear pounding louder and louder as she lies paralysed.
Hernando Colón's earliest memory is characteristically precise. It was an hour before sunrise on Wednesday the 25th of September, 1493. He was standing next to his older half-brother Diego looking out at the harbour of Cadiz. Dancing on the water in front of him was a constellation of lamps, on and above the decks of 17 ships about to weigh anchor, preparing to return to the islands in the west before their father had first made landfall less than a year before. Christopher Columbus was now the admiral of the ocean sea, and was of sufficient fame that chroniclers took down each detail of the scene in front of the 5-year-old Hernando. The fleet was formed of a number of lighter craft from Cantabria in the north of Spain, vessels made with wooden joinery so as not to be weighed down with iron nails, as well as the slower but more durable caravels. On board the ships were 1,300 souls, including artisans of every sort, and labourers to reap the miraculous and uninterrupted harvests of which Columbus had told, but also well-bred caballeros who went for adventure rather than work.
For once, I've managed to get a parking space right outside my mother's house. Except I don't want to go in. Now that I've drained the last flavourless drops of a takeaway coffee, I'm texting my husband, T, staring at the flat, grey January sky and looking for any excuse to prolong these last few minutes. Anything but walk across the pavement and open her front door. Even that isn't going to be straightforward. My eye keeps being caught by the rough metal hasp that's been screwed into the door in the frame, held shut by a big silver padlock. Not everything about my mother's house is as regular as it appears on first sight. The reason I am here, instead of at my desk 90 miles away, is that my mother was taken to hospital yesterday after a fall in her bedroom. In itself, this is not as shocking as it might be. My mother is 77 and getting frail, with lungs that scarcely work after an adult life dedicated to smoking 40 or more a day. A part of me has been expecting this crisis for a while, so there's been a certain inevitability about my 2-hour journey up the motorway this morning. It's only what any good daughter would do.